And good morning and welcome to the VSA Capital 5 Minute Morning Miner on Wednesday, the 24th of May. I should know that. We've got a big bank holiday coming up. The weather is looking absolutely glorious. I know we talk about weather too much, but the bank holiday looks fantastic. Anyway, good morning, Paul.
Well, I hope so, yeah. And the sun is shining. I was on a call earlier and they were appreciating out my window the fact that the sun was out.
Well, I hope they were actually talking about an interesting company.
Well, they were too.
Yes, so what was the company?
It was a company called Lewin Metals working up in Manitoba on nickel. So,
okay, interesting. We've also got a company coming in a bit later this morning, which is involved in tin. So that'll be quite interesting. I can also tell you, actually, I was around with Wogan, the metals traders. Wogan standing for Woodgen, which is 5 metals, and they deal with all the critical metals and battery metals. They've been doing it for 50 years. Their knowledge is amazing of all of these things. What they really need to do is monetize it. But I had a very good chat with them about all sorts of interesting things. You'll have to call me directly if you want to know about that, though. Let's move on to news today. Again, still fairly limited on the news front. The market's all in a bit of a tiz was because the debt ceiling still hasn't quite been solved. UK inflation, although it came out at 8.7%, is actually higher than was expected at 8.4%. Although I think it is going to absolutely crash back down during the summer. People forget that most of the inflation that's being caused at the moment is through energy bills, housing bills, and food price inflation. All of those are whizzing back down. Anyway, sorry, Paul. Paul, talk us through the mining news.
Yes. ASX companies caught my attention here this morning, so I'll talk a couple about that. First off, the Chilean gold explorer Tesoro Resources, they've extended the mineral corridor on their El Zorro gold project. They're not far from the coast in Chile, in a north-northwest direction by a good 10 kilometers now of gold mineralization, and that is now drill tested in a number of spots there along that corridor. The Ternero defined deposit of nearly 1 million ounces is just a small portion of that corridor now, but we're now seeing a number of named zones that they have intercepts on now. So that looking very positive here, and I've felt for a long time that this particular story in geology has an awful lot of similarity to Centamin's Sukari gold deposit there in Egypt. So just have a look-see at what the production potential or production realized from Sukari is on an annual basis in Centamin, and this is what I would say is the upside for Tesoro. So yeah, keep a close look on that one for sure.
That's interesting. It sounds like Tesoro probably ought to invite you and I out to a site visit, Paul.
I think so. The near coast of Chile wouldn't be a bad place to visit.
Yeah, if you're listening to Tesoro, please invite me and Paul, and we'll talk about it every day on this podcast. Or anybody else for that matter. I'd love to go on a mine site visit. Moving on, Paul, quickly.
The other one, Mineral Commodities, ASX listed, the mineral sands developer of their Tormin project. If there was any doubt that this thing was world-class in size and grade, just have a look at today's announcement where they put a resource estimate out specifically on the high-grade subzone of their De Punt tenement. 66 million tons at 17% total heavy minerals, which increases the total Tormin resources across the project to date to 282 million tons at 11% total heavy minerals. And that's just one of 7 known heavy mineral zones. So definitely Mineral Commodities will be in due course putting this project toward permitting and production in due course.
Listed also, on the ASX, Paul, but where are they actually based?
And what's that?
Where are they actually based?
I believe that's ASX.
No, they're listed on the ASX, but where's the actual project?
Oh, that one I'd have to look up at the moment here.
I think it's pretty key to understanding where actual project is. So I've rather caught you out there. How embarrassing.
Yeah, that's right. But just look up Tormin. Anyway. Just look up Tormin, Tormin, and you'll be able to. It'll pull it right up under Mineral Commodities.
Very good. You get your next one in, Paul, for embarrassing.
Okay. Other thing is Sheffield Resources, the Australian ASX listed mineral sands developer. This one in northern part of Australia, the Thunderbird project. They have visited or marketed here in London previously too, and one of the key directors is also based outside of London. Their Thunderbird project is now in 85% construction completion. So that project will be the next global mineral sands producer to come online here, and probably not too soon either, because the number of the projects that are out there are already running short of mineral reserves.
Okay, so I'm now just going to help you out a little bit here, Paul. The Tesoro resource, which is owned, as you quite correctly said, sorry, not the Tesoro, the mineral commodities,
Yes.
Which is the Tormin mineral sands deposit,
Yes.
is actually on the west coast of South Africa. And so
Very
actually it's not that far away from the one that we know, which is actually Whalehead, which obviously is jointly owned by Kazira and Tectonic Gold, both UK listed. So as you say, that is world class. We believe the Whalehead mineral sands project is also world class. Quite interesting to compare the two. Maybe the two should be getting together. I don't know, but it sounds like maybe we ought to be going and visiting the west coast of South Africa and doing a bit of mineral sands work. Because again, actually out there on the west coast of South Africa, the mineral sands are absolutely fantastic. They've got a tiny strip ratio. They're very easy to, in fact, you can even get somebody in to come and mine it for you. And of course, being on that Atlantic coast, basically you mine it, you get all the goodies out of it, and then the sea just brings in a whole load more. So your life of mine can potentially be infinite. So actually, I think that's really interesting. Perhaps, Paul, you'd like to go around and do a little bit of work on it.
I wouldn't mind that at all, and the South African wines would have to be tasted as well, I think.
Well, yes, we can do a little bit of that. You do, of course, have to deal with the South African politics and the BEE status and that sort of thing. Anyway, look, if you're listening, mineral commodities, perhaps you'd like to give Paul a call and explain to him where the west coast of South Africa is. No, I'd take the piss. But actually, give us a call. It's an interesting conversation to be had. We'll call it a day there. I'm sorry it was a bit of a crazy podcast, everyone, this morning, but I hope you found it interesting anyway. Thanks.
Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.